Season's greetings to all our viewers all across the globe. Hope you're enjoying the holidays. You're welcome to the abridged version of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, in the next 20 minutes thereabout, we'll give you news happening around the world. We'll start with what's happening right here in Nigeria. As usual, on Wednesdays, as usual, during midweek, we try to give you tidbits, news happening in the world of sports. And we're going to start from home. Let's start with what just came out today. It's Sports Ministry has announced that Nigeria will compete in 11 sporting events at the Tokyo Olympics to be held next year. Similar approach was taken in 2012, and the reason, the ministry says, Nigeria will only leverage on sports with comparative advantage and prospects of a podium finish at the Games. What are the sports that Nigeria will participate in? We're talking about sporting events like basketball, athletics, taekwondo, wrestling, weightlifting, boxing, and table tennis. And all of these sports will be given adequate support to excel at the Olympics. That's coming from the Sports Ministry. So 11 sporting events is not going to be a jamboree, according to the Sports Ministry. All right, let's move on quickly. We're pressed for time, and there's a lot of ground to cover on the show. Of course, let's also talk about Delta State on the show tonight. Delta State, what's happening in Delta State? The Delta State government has also announced that 9 athletes have been granted scholarships to study in the United States of America. Their names, Onome Ogbeni, Ogenekaro Brume, Princess Kara, Victory George, and Favor Ofili, some of the names of the lucky ones. The government says the athletes will leave the country in 2 weeks' time, and this means that they will not be a part of the National Sports Festival. So that's sharing news coming from Delta States. Of course, they are building the generation next, and they want to ensure that there is no vacuum. Let's listen to the Delta State Sports Commission Chairman, Tonobok Okowa, talk about this and many more.
Without school, and it's just all about sports, that is not good enough here in Delta State, so we like to encourage them. Even some of our program athletes, we've been encouraging them to go to school. Some of them are in INS, some of them in Mosoga, and they are all doing well. So it is not all about sports, but if you can have your certificate, because you can never know, tomorrow you'll have something to fall back to, or if you want to push another career in your life. So that is a good way to start with them. And then what we always do, we don't just leave them. As they go, we keep on looking into their affairs, how they are faring.
All right, so that's the essence, mixing both education and sports, and basically it's all about encouragement. Delta State leading the way and in ensuring that you discover, nurture talents, and ensure that they grow up to become stars and not missing out on anything. Let's talk about football and talk about Nigerian Football Federation, Nigeria's football governing body, talking about the NFF. They have confirmed that the Super Falcons, that's Nigeria's senior female national team, will take part in the Turkish Women's Cup that is scheduled to take place on February 15th to 25 in Turkey. The NFF gave the approval at an executive meeting in Abeokuta and also ratified arrangements of a two-legged international friendly with their counterparts from Morocco. They'll play the ladies from Morocco. Of course, it's not lost on us that the Super Falcons have not played any game in 14 months, and these matches will afford the new coach, Randall Waldrum, opportunity to get to work as soon as possible. Hopefully, all things will work out well with the ladies. We need to get them into a position where, of course, they will take their dominance from Africa and translate it to the world. All right, let's quickly talk about the remaining part of the show will probably be dedicated to what's happening on the domestic scene. But let's just quickly give you this one also from the domestic scene. Let's talk about the NFF also confirming they have rather approved the recommendation of the league management company for the appointment of Davison Owubi as the new chief executive officer of the organizing body for the Nigeria Professional Football League. Owubi replaces Oduka Rabo, who resigned from the post 2 years ago. Before his appointment, talking about Owubi, he served as the Chief Executive Officer of Rangers International of Enugu and, of course, Warri Wolves of Delta State. And he was at one point the chairman of the Nigeria Premier League. He is expected to resume office after the annual general meeting of the league management company. All right, so that's it. We're done with tidbits on the show. Let's give you what happened today, the eagerly anticipated game in the Nigeria Professional Football League. The last match day one fixture turns out that Rivers United defeated Rangers International by just a goal. Fortune Omoniwari scored for Rivers United. Well, I can say it's good times for Rivers United, and let's get some perspective on all of these things happening with Rivers United. Good result on the domestic scene, good result on the continent as well. Media officer of the team, Charles Mayuku, joins us now as we talk about some of these things. Charles, good evening. It's good to have you join us on the show tonight.
To you, and of course, the pleasure. Port Harcourt is fine and good to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Charles. Thank you for taking out time to be with us on the show tonight. Like I said, it's good times to be a Rivers United fan. It's good time to be associated with Rivers United in any way. Good result on the continent. Scaled the order in the preliminary round. Looking good to make it to the next round of the qualifiers, and also starting the league on a good note. I want to say it appears like it's good times. And what's the mood like in the camp of Rivers United right now, especially after defeating a strong side like Rangers today?
Well, the mood is right. The players are happy. The victory did not come easy. Even though we had expected the kind of match we saw today. Rangers, not a small side as far as Nigerian football is concerned. So the players they knew what was ahead of them. And the fact that we were able to accomplish, they will get the right result. Everybody's fulfilled, but you know how it is with the games. It's going to be coming very fast. And they're ready for the task. So we're looking forward to our next game on Saturday against Abia Warriors in Aba.
All right, I want to go in another direction. I'll get back to the game itself, but from the perspective of okay, let me say it this way: the absence of the fans. How strange does it feel? I know you feel the pulse of the fans. They would have loved to be there. Current situation, of course, COVID-19, the pandemic. Of course, does not allow the gates to be thrown open or for the fans to come. So how does it feel for Port Harcourt fans being around the stadium, knowing that the game is going on, watching on TV, but not being able to see it live?
Well, for us, it's a bit strange, especially for the players. But one thing with this, the whole pandemic issue, it's a global thing. So the guys are beginning to, adapt and then get to play. We did miss our fans today, especially, the moments where, as if we were on the back foot, we needed that extra man, the 12th man to fire up the players. But again, you know how it is with football around here. We're still hoping that in the coming days, the fans will be allowed in. But it's a gradual process, and the players are beginning to adapt, to get to see, and get to play without the fans. But we really, really, really did miss our fans in today's game.
All right, so let's get back to Rivers United. It appears like results in recent times going away of the club. What reasons? You're an insider. You know some of the things we don't know. Some will caution us and say it's early days. But of course, the things that have happened. We begin to make people pay attention to Rivers United. They're going in the right directions. So what are the things you think the club has done that's responsible for some of the positive things we're beginning to see right now?
Well, I think first and foremost, the objective is clear. We know that the number one supporter of the team, His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Wike, the executive governor of Rivers State, is one man who loves to win. So we want to win something for our government. We want to win something for Rivers State. So much have been put, talking about resources, have been put into the team. So we want to, pay back, to the good people of Rivers State, for, of course, the massive investment that is being put into the club side. That is one aspect to it. And again, I think the synergy between the sponsors of the team, which happens to be the Rivers State government, through the Commissioner for Sports, Honorable Boma Iyaye, and of course our able permanent secretary in the person of Sir Ono Sirao, and the management of the team, who is headed by Chief Oke Paloku, down to the technical crew and the players, the vision is clear, the objective is clear, our work is cut out, everybody knows the direction we are going. And we must say also we did a wonderful job in the transfer market, bringing in experience, and the fact that we also kept, the bulk of the players that executed the season last, even though howbeit it was short. I think this is part of what is making us, walk the path where we are walking right now. The vision is clear, objective is clear. The fans, howbeit not in the stadium, but they're solidly behind us. I think that's majorly why we are on the path where we are.
All right, Charles, let me also take you up on something that a lot of people are always worried about anytime a Nigerian team is on the continent. For you to be on the continent, you must have done well in the previous season. But when they get on the continent, a lot of people wonder, can the way Nigerian football clubs are structured, apart from maybe a Yimba and one or two teams, we've not seen clubs handle the pressure of playing on the continent, playing in the league, playing in one or two cup competitions. Most of the clubs in recent times have not handled it well, and that shows in the results from our outing in the continent and a whole lot. So will Rivers United case be different? Do they have a squad large enough to prosecute all of the games? And is there a strategy to deal with your next game is against Abia Warriors, I think, yeah? So do they have a strategy to deal with all of this? Do they have a squad capable of going all the way?
We saw what Coach Stanley Eguma did today. First and foremost, we have 40 players plus registered for this season, and every player in that squad ready to play each time they're called upon. For today, we had 3 new starters away from what we had in our last game in Bloemfontein Celtic, against Bloemfontein Celtic in South Africa. And of course, we're also looking at, I know there's going to be a lot of changes when we go to play Abia Warriors on Saturday, but the truth is we have a very large squad, and to tell you how this squad, is so, endowed, our captain, Festus Austin, in the last 3 games have failed to start, not because, he's not fit enough, but because the players that have been there have been consistent, and he only came in virtually the last 15 minutes of today's game. To tell you that in terms of depth, we have depth. In terms of quality, we have quality. We saw the changes, substitutions we made today. Kind of was substituted for Joseph Onoja, and it was like a direct, substitution. You saw when Clayton Menton had a red card, unfortunately, the likes of Nelson also had to come in, and it was like a like-to-like change. So in terms of depth, I think Rivers United, we have the squad that can carry both competitions. How big it, it's the technical crew. They know how to manage it, and we're hoping that it will continue the way we have seen it so far.
All right. I'm also going to ask you about what appears to be somewhat of an heavy burden. Only few clubs have been able to carry that. Nigeria's aspirations now rest largely on Rivers United. A lot of people are expecting that, you know, I mean, well, you never can tell what's going to happen with the other team. Hopefully, they'll get it right. But that burden of, you know, all Nigerian football fans expecting the team to do well, being behind them, expecting them to go all the way, especially because no Nigerian team has won the CAF Confederation Cup. So, do you think that burden, do you think Rivers United have the shoulders to carry that burden, or maybe it might be a burden that the team is not yet ready to carry?
First and first, we see ourselves as the pride of Rivers, and beyond that, we are now being tagged the pride of Nigeria. So rather than a burden, I think it's extra motivation for everyone in Rivers United. The fact that we are flying the flag of Nigeria, and we know that we cannot afford to falter, especially at this time where we are trying to keep that extra slot. We're trying also to, let the other Nigerian club side, Eyimba, also qualify, for the next one. So I don't think it's burden for us. It's just extra motivation. The players know we are playing for Nigeria. We're not just playing, for Rivers United. Talking about the shoulders to carry, that extra burden as in quote, we have the players, very experienced players in Theophilus Apolokai, very experienced player, a player in Ifeanyi Nnamena, very experienced player in Festus or Austin, Godwin Aguda, Bobby Clement. These are players that have seen, football at its peak. So in terms of calming, the other players down, ensuring that we are maintaining focus, I think we have the players. And not to forget, we have the very, very experienced technical manager in the person of Coach Stanley Eguma. So I think we are good enough. We're just trusting and believing that, we continue on our good run. And of course, we get to deliver when it matters the most.
Thank you very much. Wish Rivers United all the best in all that they do. As we were speaking with Charles Mayuku, a friend of the house, media officer of Rivers United, and he said a lot about Rivers United. And in the days to come, we'll also try to get more of his thoughts with regards Rivers United. Let's travel abroad now and take a look at what is happening in the English Premier League. Of course, the news today, 2 matches were to be played, but of course, one of the matches couldn't hold. And of course, you know the reason why. COVID-19 outbreak at the visiting club, which is Fulham. So Tottenham against Fulham couldn't go ahead because of that reason. But the one that did go ahead, we are approaching halftime, I think. We're approaching halftime in that game. Newcastle United up against Liverpool, defending champions Liverpool. As it stands, it is still goalless. It is still goalless, and we have just a couple of minutes to go before we end the show. If anything happens, we'll let you know. But situation report in the game at St. James's Park is goalless now between Newcastle United and Liverpool. So trust us to be your eyes and ears. If anything happens, we'll let you know. Let's quickly go on and talk about Spain. What's happening in Spain? Let's flip over quickly and go to La Liga and talk about what's going on in La Liga. Granada and Valencia 2-1 in favor of Granada. They defeated their more illustrious opponent, Valencia. Atletico Madrid and Getafe, a goal from Luis Suarez in the 28th minute was enough for Diego Simeone's men to win that game. So victory for Atletico Madrid. Celta Vigo and Huesca, it was a victory for Celta Vigo. 2-1 it ended. Elche taking on the almighty Real Madrid. The game is live as we speak. A situation report, it is goalless. In that game is still goalless as we speak. That's the situation report. Matches played today in the Spanish La Liga. All right, so that's it. Let's quickly go on as we prepare to leave. Let's talk about Philippe Coutinho. Of course, Barcelona have announced that the player will have surgery, and after the surgery, it will now be known the amount of time the player will be missing in action. He is set for a spell on the sidelines after suffering a meniscus injury in his left knee during yesterday's 1-1 draw with Haiba. So he will have surgery. Then the Catalan Giants will be able to determine the amount of time that he will be on the sidelines. So that's it. Our best wishes to continue. He's had to deal with a lot of injuries, but then is part of the game. With that story, we come to the end of the show tonight. Is the abridged version, as you already know. We'll be back here again tomorrow. I'll take you on a trip across the money spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.